If you're moving to Newnan with kids or even thinking about it, there is one mistake I watch families make every single summer. They fall in love with a house, they go under contract, and then they find out it doesn't feed into the schools that they thought it did. So today I'm going to make sure that never happens to you, because by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how Coweta County schools are set up, which schools feed into which, how to read the ratings the right way, and the timeline you need to hit if you want to be settled in before the first bell rings. So stick with me. This one you will want to send to anyone you know who is relocating here to Newnan, Georgia. Hi, my name is Sheree Macaroni, and I am with Macaroni Homes, your local realtor right here in Newnan, Georgia. And helping families relocate into Coweta County is honestly one of my favorite parts of my job. So here's why the timing's important. We are in one of the busiest moving seasons of the entire year, and Coweta County Schools just opened up registration for 2026-2027 school year. So that means families who are house hunting right now are also racing to the clock to get enrolled before classes start. So I did some homework for you. I put together a free Moving to Newnan school guide. It lists every single school in the county, the feeder patterns, the ratings, and a map showing exactly where everything sits. So I'll tell you how to grab that at the end of the video, so stay and watch to the end. So for now, grab a coffee and let's walk through it together. Let's start with the calendar, because this is the part most families underestimate. School registration for the upcoming year is now open. That includes brand new student enrollment, kindergarten registration. This district is actively asking new families to begin the process early, and there's a good reason for that. Registration requires proof that you actually live in the attendance zone, which means in most cases, you need a closed-on home or at least a signed lease before you can finish enrolling. So think about what that does to your timeline. If your goal is to have your kids walking into class on day 1 in August, you can't start house hunting, you can't in like late July and expect it to come all together, right? The home decision and the school decisions are tied together. One drives the other if school systems is important to you. And here's the encouraging part. Families shopping right now almost always have a firm deadline. So if you move with a plan, you are actually ahead of a lot of people. So let me show you how the schools are organized first, and then we'll build your timeline backwards from there. Okay, the big picture. So Coweta County School System serves around 23,000 students, and it is constantly ranked among the strongest districts in the state of Georgia. As a district, it sits comfortably in the top tier statewide, with graduation rates up like around 92%. So this is a school system families move towards and not away from. So here's how it breaks down. You've got 19 elementary schools, 7 middle schools, and 3 high schools. And the simplest way to understand the whole county is to think of it as 3 big school families. Each one centers on one of the high schools, right? So Newnan High, the in-town west side cluster, East Coweta, covering the Sharpsburg and Sonoya side to the east. Then you got Northgate High, the fastest growing northern part of the county. So every elementary and middle school in the county eventually rolls up into one of these 3 high schools. So when families ask me, what school will my kids go to? The real question underneath that is, which of these 3 clusters does my address belong to? And that brings me to the single most important rule in this whole entire video. Verifying by address always. If you remember nothing else, remember this. School zones are assigned by your exact home address, not by the neighborhood name, not by the subdivision, and not by what the listing says. 2 houses on the same street can occasionally land in different school zones. And we have a few schools in the county that sit right on the seam between the clusters, schools like Madras Middle, Arnold Middle, and Jefferson Parkway Elementary, where the zoning can route different addresses to different high schools. So here's the move every smart relocating family makes. Before you fall in love with a specific house, you need to confirm the zoning 2 ways. You got to check the official's district zoning, like look up the property address, and also you need to call the Board of Education to verify. It takes 5 minutes and it protects you from a heartbreak I have seen very much of the time. I'll say one more time because it's that important. Never assume. Always verify. Even the MLS can be wrong. Now, with that rule locked in, let's take a quick tour of the 3 clusters so you know what makes each one of these special. There are 3 school clusters. First, you got Newnan High. This is the in-town cluster, and it's got a great story right now. Newnan High is operating out of a brand new campus that opened in 2024, a fresh facility for a school with a long, proud history in its community. On the academic side, it outperforms the majority of Georgia high schools with strong graduating numbers. Feeding into Newnan High, you got middle schools like Evans, Smoky Road, and Madras, and elementary schools including Atkins, Elm Street, Northside, Ruth Hill, Western, Arnco Sargent, Glanton, and Moreland. So if you want to be close to downtown, the hospital, and the classic Newnan feel, this is your cluster you're going to want to be a part of. So next you got East Coweta High. This is the largest high school in the county. I mean, we're talking somewhere north of 3,000 students. And it anchors on the east side, so out towards Sharpsburg and Sonoya. So it's a big school, strong school spirit, lots of programs and activity simply because of the size. Its middle school includes East Coweta, Lee, and Arnold, with elementary schools like Newnan Crossing, Poplar Road, Welch, Willis, and East Side down over in Sonoya. So if you love the small town Sonoya charm with quick access to the highway, look here. Third, you got Northgate High School. Northgate is a stand-apart academic performer in the county, and it sits in the northern, fastest growing part of Coweta, the part that is closest to the Atlanta side, which makes it really popular with commuters and relocation buyers. Its middle schools include the newest Blake Bass Middle, plus Arnold and Madras on the shared edges, and elementary schools are Brooks, Canongate, Thomas Crossroads, Arbor Springs, White Oak, and Jefferson Parkway. So, including some of the top-rated elementary schools in our entire county. So, check your records. If schools are your number 1 priority and a shorter drive towards Atlanta matters, Northgate is the cluster people ask me about the most. That is the most sought-after cluster. So, those of you, there's some for all families, right? So now, how do you actually compare the quality of these schools without getting fooled by the numbers? Let's talk about that. So here's how to read the scores the right way. Something that surpasses people is that all 3 of our high schools carry a 4-star rating on the major third-party rating sites. So you're not choosing between good school and a bad school here. You're choosing between 3 strong options and finding the right fit for your family. But I want to give you a word of caution because this is where families get tripped up all the time. Don't lean on just one website star rating. Those ratings are heavily rated towards testing scores, and they do not capture the things that might matter most to you. The arts program, special education support, the sports, the band, the teachers, your neighbor raves about. So here's how I coach my relocation buyers and do it the right way. So start with the official Georgia Department of Education report card for the exact school that is most reliable and has an unbiased source. Then cross-check with like district's own school websites for programs and culture. So find out what the culture is there, right? And finally, glance on sites like Great Schools, Niche, and School Digger for parent review angle. So that's really important. What are the parents saying? Put those three together and then get the real picture, not just a star. My free guide tells you exactly where to find each of those, so you don't want to be hunting around. All right, so let's get practical. Once you know your zone, here's what you'll typically need to actually register a student in Coweta County. So get these ready early so your enrollment isn't all scrambled. You gotta have your child's birth certificate, proof of residency, this is a big one, usually a closing statement, so you gotta close a house with me, deed or a signed lease, plus a utility bill. You need your immunization records on the Georgia Certificate Immunization Form 3231 and your eye, ear, and dental exam certificate, and that is on Georgia Form 3300. A special note for all you parents with your incoming kindergartners. In Georgia, your child needs to turn 5 years old on or before September 1st to start kindergarten. So if you got a little one with a late summer birthday, double check those dates before you plan around it. And always, always, always confirm the current year's checklist and the first day of school on the district website, because details and dates can shift year to year. So I'm giving you the framework, the district gives you the final word, right? So now let's tie it all together with a timeline, working backward from the first day of school in early August. Around 60 days out, you need to be fully pre-approved. So if you're watching this video now, we may be too late to get into school immediately, but I can help you find a lender, we can pick your cluster, and we can start touring immediately. Knowing your number and your school zone first will save us weeks of touring homes. So 30 to 45 days out, this is when you're going to want to go under contract. And typically purchase takes about 30 days for us to get it to the closing table, just to kind of make that math simple. So if you want to be in before school starts, you need to be under contract roughly in 2 weeks. So while you're in the window, start gathering those school documents that we just got done talking about. At closing, the day you get the keys and have your permanent address, you can finalize your enrollment all at the same time. That's why the home has to come first. And here's the reminder for any sellers watching too. The families shopping right now have deadlines. They want to be settled in before school year starts. So if you're thinking about selling a well-priced, move-in ready home, this time of the year is exactly what motivated buyers are looking for. So it's important for family home sales in this county. It's not time to wait. Before I let you go, 2 quick local things that come up constantly with families moving here. First, growth. A lot of buyers ask me what county will look like in 10 years from now. Right now, there's a big project under discussion locally. You're hearing it. It's called Project Sale. It's a proposed data center. Some neighbors are excited about the jobs and the tax revenue it could bring to the county and the schools. Others have real concerns and are pushing for a public vote on it. So I'm not here to tell you how to feel about this. My job is just to make sure you know it's part of the conversation so you can ask smart questions about growth and development in whatever area you are considering. Second, a heads up for once you've actually owned a home here. Every year, the county mails out notice of assessments. A lot of people are opening their envelopes right now. They're seeing a number and they think that's what their home's worth. It's not. That is the county's value for property tax purposes, and it can be heavily different from true market values. So these notices are out right now, and the deadline is like early August for anybody to appeal that value. So if you're already a Coweta homeowner watching this, don't let that envelope sit on the counter. And if you ever want to know your home's real market value, that's literally my job. So reach out to me, let me know. I'll leave you with this. The reasons family fall in love with Coweta County isn't just the schools or the numbers. It's the life here. It's the churches. It's the Sunday community, the festivals on downtown Newnan Square, the parks, the small town feel from Atlanta, still being close enough for people to commute to those jobs. People don't just buy a house here. they put down roots here. So if you're moving in Newnan and you want a head start, here's what to do. Download my free Moving to Newnan school guide. If you can't download it, just comment. It has every school, the feeder patterns, the ratings, and all of the map, all that stuff. The link is going to be down in the description. And when you're ready to talk homes, or you just want me to confirm the zoning on a specific address before you fall in love with it, call me, text me. My phone number is 229-563-3116. You can also reach out to me on my website. Just go to macaronihomes.com/contact. You can fill out that information and it'll get sent to me. I'd be honored to help your family land in the right home, in the right school zone before the first bell rings. So, I'm Sheree Macaroni with Macaroni Homes. If this helps, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the next one. And I'm definitely going to see you on the next video. So, comment below if you want some more information. Other than that, click that next video down there and you can keep watching more about what Coweta County has to offer. Have a great day.